In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm in Cork, Ireland, not Court, being done for something. And this week I'm talking to not Joe, because Joe is not an island with me. I'm talking to Julian Northbrook. Hi, Julian.
Hi, Vicky.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I should tell you that Julian is concentrating very hard on sitting on his chair right now. He's a little bit jet lagged because he's just come from Japan.
I am not a little bit jet lagged. I am so jet lagged that I feel like I might die at any second.
Okay, well let's try and avoid that. And
well, death mid podcast is always a good thing. You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, so I've got some questions. I'm going to ask. Oh, that's noisy. I'm going to ask you about how you've marketed your business and how you've used books and Kindle. But first, will you tell us what you do? Okay.
I teach English as a second language, specifically to people who use English in business, whether it's because they work in an international company in their home country, or because they live in the UK, the US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, etc. Basically what I do is I teach English as a second language to, well, again, people who use it in business.
Cool. Okay, and at the end I'm going to ask you to send people, to a place where they can find out more about you. Julian's also written a really cool book called Doing English. What's it called? Your business is Doing English.
Master English Fast.
Master English Fast. And it's actually a really beautiful book because you sent me a copy, thank you very much. Yeah. And it's a physically very beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. How's it worked for you?
Really, really, really well. And it's funny that you mentioned, funny that you said that it's a physically beautiful book because a lot of people have commented on that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because it's not just a paperback and it's not a hardback, but it's got a dust jacket. It's just lovely.
Yeah, we had it produced by a company in Japan that does kind of high-end self-published books. And they produced it for us.
Okay, cool. I would say you'll have to give us the name, but I don't think many of my listeners live in Japan and will probably not want to have their books published there.
But it's called Kyoryu Publishing. If anybody is in Japan and interested.
Cool. Well, I will dig out the URL for that.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to talk about is something that we were talking about earlier today, and how you've used Kindle books to grow your business.
Cool.
Because it sounds really exciting, frankly, and it's not something that I want to dabble in, but I haven't got into yet. So tell us what you've been doing with Kindle.
Okay. Kindle for me is very exciting at the moment because it's one of those things that I don't think many people are doing. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I mean, people are putting their books on Kindle, but I don't think they're doing with them quite what you're doing.
Right. I don't know many people who are doing Kindle at all. Basically, what I am doing is I'm almost copying what people are doing in fiction, especially crime writing.
Okay.
I've kind of looked at what they've done and I kind of copied that in a way.
Okay. So what are people doing in crime writing that has appealed to you and that you thought you could use?
Basically taking a topic, writing about it, and then publishing multiple books around the same topic, but each one leading into the next or around the same topic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Can you give me an example of some of the books that you've published?
So what I have done is I've got my main book, which is Master English Fast, which is kind of the method that I use. It's all about learning English as a second language. And then what I've done is I've published multiple books around that, which I call the kind of Learning English Advanced series, which in a way are all the kind of things that I wanted to talk about in the main book, but didn't have space.
Right.
So I've now got about, I don't know, I think it's about 4 or 5 at the moment.
Okay.
Around that are all connected to the main book that I've written, and they all hint at each other. and they all go around the kind of central topic, but they're all looking at it from different perspectives, different angles, different ways.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, yeah. So what have you been doing? How has it worked for you? Has it brought you in new leads?
Yeah.
His face, by the way, just like his eyebrows went into his hair then in a kind of yes.
Lots, in fact. It's, I don't know, it's what I am finding consistently is that people who come through my Kindle books are turning into much better clients later on.
Okay.
The lead quality is very, very high compared to other things that I've done.
Why do you think that is?
I think that people who read books in general tend to be better customers. But to explain it properly, I don't know, I think I'd have to go into what I do on YouTube as well.
Yeah, well, tell us about what you do on
Okay.
YouTube, because I know that you've been doing amazing stuff on YouTube.
So basically what I do on YouTube is I make videos now that advertise the Kindle books, because I'm not trying to articulate something that I haven't really talked about out loud before, but what I've been doing for about a year. But.
Okay, we'll start right at the beginning. What's your YouTube channel about? What do you do with it?
Okay, so when I first started my business, my YouTube channel fed right into the courses that I do. Mm-hmm. So people would watch my YouTube videos, they'd like what they saw, and then they went to my website, bought my courses, everything was great. Mm-hmm. But then over time, YouTube got more and more saturated with people doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And more I found that people were watching my YouTube videos and then were like, hey, this person's just selling shit. Mm-hmm. We want stuff for free. That's why we come to YouTube.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that in the beginning, but more and more that's how it's becoming.
Sure.
So I don't find that people watch my YouTube videos and then go and buy courses anymore. But what I do find is that people will watch YouTube videos and then become interested in books.
Okay, that's interesting.
So in a sense, Amazon for me acts like a filter. It filters out the people who are then going to become coaching clients, course clients, inner circle members. But it also gives the people who watch my YouTube videos and who want more, I guess, an easy introduction to what I do, an easy option. They don't have to go and buy a several £100 course. They go and read a book, and then if they want more from there, then they join the course and they become coaching clients, and so on and so on. So increasingly my YouTube channel has become a precursor to the books that I write. For example, one of my recent books is about accents and learning an English accent, whether that's that you want to learn to speak with a British accent, or you want to learn to speak English as a second language with your original accent. For example, you're Polish and you have a Polish accent, but you want to learn to speak in a clear, easy to understand way. Mm-hmm. That's still your native accent, but it sounds good in English.
Yeah.
Awesome Accent is the name of the book, and that's what I teach people to do.
Oh, cool.
So I've done a series of videos that are about learning to speak with an awesome accent, and then the videos lead into the content of the book, which leads into a course, which leads into coaching. So it's kind of a step-by-step process, depending on where people want to go.
Okay. So it's just another type of funnel, really, I guess.
It's a type of funnel. The difference being that the beginning stages of it are completely managed by Amazon.
Right.
Which is great for me because it means I don't have to deal with all the people that come in the top end.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm guessing that and this is something that everyone needs to take note of. You can really easily put a Kindle book out there, so easily. Yeah. And you can change the call to actions quite often, can't you? So I guess what type of call, is it in the back page? Is there like an offer for people? How does it work with your Kindle books?
I've done a couple of different things, but what I generally do in the majority of my books is I simply offer an audio version of the book for free with the book. That might be specific to my market though.
Okay.
Because the people who are reading my books are reading it as a second language, and they tend to want listening practice in English as well. So the audio version of the book is inherently valuable to them.
Okay.
That's not to say that I don't think it would work for another market, because I tend to be the same. I like to listen to books
Yeah. I found that with my book club as well. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not available on audiobook, Vicky. Why have you not,
Right. With me, I run.
Okay, yeah.
About 10 kilometers a day. That's about an hour a day. And when I'm running, what do? I listen to audiobooks.
Okay.
So with my market, I offer an audio version of the book, which is literally me basically saying the book. In some instances, I've actually recorded the audio version first and then transcribed that, and that becomes the book.
Yeah.
Some instances, I've written the book and I record it, and it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
So that's the call to action for most of what I do. For some of my other books as well, I have a webinar, an online seminar, which is also exactly the same as the content of the book. So in the beginning of the book, I'll say, if you don't want to read the book, you can go to this URL and you can watch it as an online seminar. Some people don't like to do that. They like to read, and that's good for them too. They can get the Kindle book and...
Yeah. So you're kind of covering all bases, because some people like to read, some like to listen, some like to watch.
Yeah.
And it's a really easy way, guys, to just repurpose your content.
Yeah. And that's the thing, all bases. I mean, different people learn in different ways. Some people learn best with audio. That's me, personally. I don't like video at all. I do like reading, but I learn best with audio. Yeah. Some people learn better with reading. Some people learn better with video. Cover all bases. Same content, repurposed in different ways.
Yeah.
Plus, it makes some money through Kindle as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were saying earlier that you were thinking that your Kindle sales might overtake some of your other sales at some point.
Right. That, I think it will, eventually.
Okay.
What I have found, as I started it about 12 months ago now, the sales from my Kindle books have gradually increased each month. It's not a massive amount, but I think the first month that I did it was about £10 a month. It's now up to about 1,200 a month.
Wow. And that's an income for some people.
Right. That's what I mean. And it's gradually increasing. And it's increasing whether I publish new books or not. If I publish a new book, then we get a spike in sales, and then that leads into new sales from that particular book. But each book that I've published previously is consistently bringing in income each month.
Okay.
And
so what are you doing to market it? Are you using KDP Select?
KDP Select, whether that's doing much for me or not, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't really pay that much attention to it. The main thing I'm doing to market them is the YouTube videos. Okay. The YouTube leads into the books. Yeah. When I publish a new book, I send emails to my list to promote it. I often give my inner circle members a free copy of the book and ask them to review it. Not many people do, if I'm perfectly honest. But
people are a pain in the bum for that.
Yeah, getting reviews is a nightmare.
It really is.
On Kindle. But,
on anything.
On anything, yeah.
Okay, so I really love this model, and it's been something that I've kind of started putting together some Kindle books from my old newsletters and things, and it's been on my radar for ages. But you've probably fired me up to do this, and I just think it's such a simple thing for people to do. So could you kind of just outline really simply what people could do if they've got content to get a book on Kindle and then market it? Okay,
here is what I do and what I would recommend other people do.
Yeah.
Pick something that you've got. If it's a newsletter, perfect. And if I'm perfectly honest, most of my Kindle books now are newsletters repurposed.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that, by the way, is that people don't notice that their newsletters repurposed.
Yeah.
To the extent where my inner circle members will buy the Kindle book and be like, wow, I really wish I'd learned about this before.
And you're like, dude,
and I'm like, dude, I sent you this as a newsletter 6 months ago. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. It makes us cry, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Julian?
But basically what I do is I pick something that I'm going to publish and I schedule it to be published for pre-order 2 months in advance. So I push people to pre-order as well. Not that many people do, but it's kind of handy to have them do that. Because if you... I guess it depends on the industry, but in my industry, there's not that much competition, so I can get to number one in the KDP charts for English as a foreign language pretty easily. Mm-hmm. If I have 15 people pre-order it, that pretty much guarantees me a number one spot for the first couple of days.
Cool.
Which is great, because it just means I can say I'm a number one bestseller in Amazon.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't mean that much at all.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing, basically.
Nice to say that.
But it's nice to be able to say it. But it also gives me a spike in sales, because people do see it in the charts, and it shows a message up saying number one in English as a foreign language, blah, 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 blah. So I'll schedule books 2 months in advance, and then kind of hint at it in my emails. Don't really sell it that much in my YouTube videos as well. If I get 15, 20 people pre-order it, great, I'm happy with that. Then I write the book, upload it, so that on the day that it's released, it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. Then on the day that it's released, I will send emails to my email list saying, there's a new book out, go buy it here. My inner circle members who are participating in my Facebook group can usually get it for free, but I only really announce it in the Facebook group so that people who are in my inner circle and who are participating and paying attention will go and get that. I usually say, like, if you like it, please give it a review. Some people do, a lot of people don't. Challenging in my market, because people are all over the world and different countries have very different rules when it comes to Amazon. A lot of them don't use Amazon regularly, so they haven't spent enough for their reviews to appear. And I don't know if you know this, but different countries, you have to spend a different amount of money before the reviews will actually come up.
I did not know that.
No, I think like in Spain, for example, you have to have spent €50
Oh, really?
before your reviews can actually appear visibly in Amazon.
Oh.
Surprisingly, a lot of my people actually don't use Amazon.
Okay.
Like I do all my shopping on Amazon, so I've probably spent hundreds of thousands on Amazon over the years.
Yeah.
But a lot of my guys actually haven't spent €50, so.
Okay. Interesting.
So their reviews don't appear, but I try to push it anyway. The book comes out, send it to my list, and then it really just kind of floats.
Just ticks over, and I suppose once it's on Amazon, it's there. You know.
Once it's there, it's there.
Yeah, and
then,
you've got sales all the time, just kind of ticking over.
And I talk about all my other books in each book that I write.
Right.
So I hint at them. What I've done, I've got my main book, Master English Fast, which is kind of the core method. And then, like I said, I've got other books, which are kind of peripheral topics that are related, but which were too advanced to go in the main book.
Yeah.
And then in each one, I'm talking about each other book that I do. And of course, I'm talking about the main book, Master English Fast. And in the introduction, I say, if you haven't read the main book, you should go and read that first. Generally, people do.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. That was... thank you very much for that, because it's such a simple, easy kind of marketing system, and it's not, if you've got content already, which a lot of people have, it's not a lot of effort.
It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And again, the great thing about it is that it keeps on selling over time. Like it's almost like you are being paid to advertise your other stuff that you've got. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, each one of my books is an advertisement for my inner circle from a different angle. Yeah. But people read the books, they get value out of the book, they learn something, they improve their English because of the book. Some of them go into the inner circle, a lot of them don't, but...
Yeah. No, that's very cool. And, I'm just going to point people back to what you said about how much money your Kindle books are bringing in, £1,000 a month plus.
Right.
Just for getting, it takes time to build it up. But guys, if you're wondering what you can do as kind of, I don't want to say residual income or passive income, because it's not, still have to do the work, but it's that, it's just well worth doing, guys. So
it is worth doing. It's not passive in that you don't do anything, because you do have to do work to do it. Yeah. But I can see the day that Kindle sales will overtake everything else that I do, and that I'll just do that to the exclusion of all else. Yeah. I think.
Which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
So, Julian, if people want to find out more about you and what you do, how can they find you?
They can find me at doingenglish.com, or by typing Julian Northbrook into YouTube or Google, because I am pretty sure I am the only one in the entire world.
Or obviously they can go to Amazon and search for you.
Or they can go to Amazon, of course. Yeah, because we're talking about Amazon Kindle.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Oh, one last quick question. Do you use any of the other platforms like Kobo or Smashbooks? Or
No,
Okay, interesting.
pure laziness.
Pure laziness.
Yeah.
And I bet if you did, that would just put you out there a little bit further.
Probably. I use Kindle Select
Yeah.
because I like to be able to say in my YouTube videos, if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free.
Yes.
If I didn't do that, I would put it on everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's how I started, and that's how I've kept going.
Yeah. I do
Which
the
is
same,
better?
actually.
I don't know.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you again so much. Doingenglish.com or Amazon or, YouTube is where you can find Julian. Go look for what he's doing, because even if you're not interested in English as a second language, have a look at what he's doing and how he's doing it, because he's raking it in, frankly.
And I have a book called Magnetic Chit-Chat, the introduction of which is all about Vicky.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because you did a podcast episode about charisma.
I did.
And
Why have I not got this book?
coincidentally, didn't I email you about it?
No,
I'm sure I did.
you did not.
I did, because you said it was a great title.
Was I drunk?
It might have been another Vicky. It might have been somebody else. No.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back through my emails and double check about that.
And
because-
one of your podcast episodes is actually the resource area. Is like the resource area sends an email, and it's your podcast episode that sends you and Joe talking about charisma.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're talking about pink gin in the beginning.
We were
weren't
talking
we?
about pink gin,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that was quite awesome. Thank you very much.
Because coincidentally, I was writing the book as you published the podcast episode, and I was like, wow, it's
do
like
remember now.
it's almost the same thing that
Yeah.
she's talking about that I've just written.
I do. Now you say that, I do.
To the
remember that,
extent I actually thought, oh my god, Vicky's going to think I've copied her podcast. What am I going to do?
No, that does ring a bell. So I do remember the email now, because you were like, I didn't copy your podcast. It's
Yeah. So I quickly rewrote the introduction, and I was like, my friend Vicky was doing this, and this, and
Nice.
I'll send you a copy.
Send me a copy. I want to see it. But yeah, if you want to see an example of a beautiful book as well, then get yourself a copy of Julian's book, Master English.
Mastering English Fast.
Mastering English.
The
Fast.
paperback copies of which are almost sold out and will be soon gone.
There you go. And even if you're learning English as a second language, it's still, I've read it. It's a very good book. So
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, I learned from the best.
Thank you. And thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for not falling over in your jet-laggedness.
Jet-laggedness.
Jet-lagged and maybe half a pint of beer. And I will be back with Joe same time next week. I think we may be doing next week's podcast from France, because we're going on holiday.
Ooh.
So that will be cool.
What part of France?
Limoges.
Wow,
Camping for
very
2
nice.
Yeah, camping for 2 weeks, and I'm going to basically be sleeping. It's going to be great.
Great.
So yeah, we'll be back same time next week. Look up Julian's stuff. Look up my stuff. If you want to come on an amazing retreat to San Diego with me and Misty, go to breakingbreadmastermind.com and book your place. There are only 7 left. There are only 8 places available. We've already sold one of them, so come along. I think we've sold 2 of them actually. So maybe 6 places left. Come to San Diego, sunny San Diego in November, first weekend of November. Otherwise, we'll see you same time next week. Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.